Good morning, and we are live. I am sorry to come in smiling. I just am always really glad to see you. It's nothing to smile about this morning. The fourth estate has completely collapsed. For some of you that may have forgotten what the fourth estate is, that's journalism, folks. That's our media. What we just saw with ABC. Well, it's going to be one of those inflection points, one of those moments in history that your grandchildren are going to read about. It's that significant. So let's just dig into it. Let's do this. All right, folks, this is what we're talking about. This is what happened. In case you missed it, ABC was involved in a defamation lawsuit. Donald Trump was suing ABC for saying he's a rapist. And ABC decided to settle the lawsuit for $15 million. Here's the problem. Okay. And first of all, yeah, I didn't vote for the rapist. I'm not worried. I'm not scared. I'm not bothered about calling him a rapist. The judge in the lawsuit calls him a rapist. Let me share a few headlines with you. Just about every major media outlet out there has said the exact same thing that ABC just got sued for. Business Insider, that's a right-wing rag. Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll, even though he was found liable only for sexual abuse, judge rules. A federal judge has gone to great lengths to make clear Trump really did rape E. Jean Carroll. That's from Mother Jones. And it's not just media outlets; it's actual courts that have ruled against Trump in this. And so Trump tried to sue a writer in a defamation case over this about a year ago and lost bigly because the judge said he cannot challenge the notion that the writer made that he raped E. Jean Carroll because it's now a matter of fact. So why did ABC do it? I saw one of the comments coming in. I appreciate you, Wayne, for putting it up there, that this is a $15 million bribe in open daylight. And I've got to tell you that's pretty much, well, the commentary that both all of social media is running with. But the ABC just decided to pay Donald Trump a bribe. And then there's background commentary to that they're afraid of Trump, and this is their way of buying into his good graces by paying him $15 million. That doesn't pan out. That really doesn't hold Water. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Peter Campbell in the House. Two very important parts of a healthy, well-informed society were once not for profit. Now we're seeing the damaging the other side of that coin. Yeah. It's actually, I'm gonna not sugarcoat this. This is far worse than just a bribe. It is. First of all, it's not really even a bribe. Let's be honest here. ABC's settlement, they literally don't have to cut a check to anybody right now. The settlement was to write a $15 million check to a, quote, charity, which is going to be Trump's presidential library. That charity doesn't even exist. That library program doesn't even exist. So this is not something that ABC even has to do right now. So no, they didn't technically, bribe Donald Trump. I mean, they haven't even cut the check. They don't have to cut the check anytime in the immediate future. And let's be honest, folks, it's not a lot of money. Think about the Dominion lawsuit, what Fox had to pay. $15 million is next to nothing. I want you to take a second to hit the subscribe button for folks that don't know, that aren't comfortable with YouTube yet. The subscribe button isn't buying a subscription to anything or anything like that. It's just the follow button like you find on other social media. So please hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button so a lot of people can hear. The algorithm will show this to people that need to hear it. But yeah, it's not even that. That again, we do this all the time. Major things will happen, and I will point out where the media, the corporate media, is missing the story. This is rewriting history. See, politically, Trump is, there was a lot of bluster coming in. This was a 50-50 election. There was no mandate there. And then on top of that, Trump really has a base problem right now. He does. You'll notice it on social media. The whole "you elected a rapist" comment is severely damaging Trump's support among his base, because you can't unring that bell. You just can't. There is a ton of buyer's remorse because you're telling your family members, I'm telling my family members, people that voted for Trump, MAGA. Yeah, you elected a rapist. And again, I'm just going to stress, I did not vote for the rapist. And I've already had a right-winger tell me, you better be careful saying that, boy. You better be careful saying that. ABC, they're big badass, and they had to bend the knee. They had to bend the knee to Trump because, that's a lie. And that's what this was about. That's what ABC did. They handed Trump a narrative to counter all of those headlines that I just showed you. Their base, who lives in fantasy, now has their little crack to dig their fingernails into and hold on to. Like we've said, we've talked about it before. We've got a midterm coming up. Hell, we've got an off-year election coming up in just a few months here in Texas. You have off-year elections coming up in November, and then there are midterms in 2 years. Trump is already facing a backlash within his own party. His appointments are embarrassing. You are winning these arguments, and they know it. So you have to really look at the dynamics of what just happened here. And you have to ask yourself the question, why did ABC do it? I mean, why did ABC do it? I mean, there's some speculation that it was because ABC didn't want to go to deposition. See, that's where we were at. And this is why the legal experts are in such freakout mode. I just want to be perfectly clear with you. There is no one with any credibility that does not know Donald Trump was going to lose this case to ABC. He was going to lose this case. It is just a matter of court fact. All of those headlines I showed you come from the judge himself characterizing what happened to E. Jean Carroll as rape. And just to show you how unafraid I am of this, just to put it out there, yes, I'll take another sip from the I didn't vote for the rapist cup. And we have talked about it before, and I'm going to talk about it again, exactly what happened. Donald Trump followed E. Jean Carroll into the women's dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman department store in New York City. He slammed her against a wall. She tried to fight him off. He shoved his hands under her dress, under her undergarments, and he digitally raped her in that dressing room. She was eventually able to get a knee up between her and him and use the strength of her legs to push him off, and then she ran. That is the court testimony. That is rape. ABC was going to win this case. No one disputes that. So you have to say, why did ABC do it? Well, a lot of people are like, $15 million, they just wanted to pay him a bribe because they're scared of Trump. Okay, let's look at that. First of all, the $15 million. $15 million for you and me is life-changing money. It is. $15 million for you is fuck you money for 4 generations in your family. What's that? That's you don't want to go to work today? Pick up the phone, call your boss. Fuck you. Your neighbor starts being a jerk. You call a realtor, walk out in your front yard, put your realty sign up because you can move any damn place you want to, and you look at that neighbor and you tell that neighbor, fuck you. It's freedom money for somebody like you and me. But for a defamation lawsuit in this category, it's nothing. ABC, this will not even be a blip on their spreadsheet whenever they do get around to actually having to write that check, which could be 6 years down the road. This was nothing. I don't remember the exact settlement. You have to forgive me. One of you will know it because you're some of the smartest people I know. The Dominion settlement, what was it, $780 million? I don't remember exactly the exact final figure by the time they got through negotiating out. $15 million is not much more than his legal fees. So no, it's not the money. 787. There you go. I love you people so much. I do. For you new people that are just seeing this for the first time, this is why you have to be in the live audience. These are some of the most informed, smartest. These are professionals. If you feel comfortable, post what you do for a living. If you feel comfortable doing that, these are professionals. These are retired professionals. These are smart people. This is good company to be in. But yeah, So we're at the point now where the judge in this case says depositions. Trump's team was not ever going to allow, Trump's campaign was not ever going to allow Trump to sit for a deposition in this case. They were going to settle. Trump was going to have to kill this case. He was going to have to pay ABC's lawyers by the time this was over. This was a done deal, folks. ABC, I cannot stress this enough, ABC was going to win this case. I want you to think for a moment, Trump right now, with every one of his nominees in trouble, with the narrative turning against him, sitting for depositions, which would be, even for a corporate media that is filleting Trump at every turn, that is sane-washing Trump at every turn. Not every aspect of the media, corporate media, was going to be able to not play Trump answering questions again, refreshing that whole graphic story I just shared with you again, and losing. That wasn't going to happen. So, if you really look at the machinations of it, ABC just did Trump a favor. And there are some people that are speculating. I don't know if y'all remember Rob Marciano. He's now been fired. He was the weatherman at Good Morning America with George Stephanopoulos. Y'all remember Rob Marciano? This may not trigger your memory of him because he hasn't looked like this for a while. See, Rob got banned from the studio. This is what you may remember Rob Marciano as. Rob did his weatherman bit, whether there was a storm or not. Rob was not allowed to set foot in the studio. And eventually he was fired with ABC saying it was over anger management issues. But yeah, I mean, he did his last year doing the weather from the street. So there is some speculation that this was mutual self-defense, that Trump didn't want to sit for a deposition, and that ABC didn't want maybe some damaging information to come out in their depositions. That's one theory. That is one theory. It is. It's a plausible theory. It's not the one I believe, though. It's not the one I believe. Dollar Straws, I appreciate the support. I really do. I can't do it without you, brother. Y'all keep it going. Now, what I suspect, and this is speculation on my part, what I suspect is I think ABC just tried to make a deal. They're going to try to do what CNN has tried to do and fail. See, the Republicans have Fox. And Fox isn't particular. A lot of people really give Fox way more credit. Fox isn't as big as you think it is. It's really not. Their audience isn't really that big. I mean, your average entertainment show blows Fox out of. I mean, it's like an order of magnitude difference. What Fox has is their demographic has money, and I don't mean like uber wealthy. But if you're going to market something, that's a pretty fat part of the calf. Their demographic are old people. Young people are broke. They just are. We've all been through life. Come on. We know how it works. We know by the time you reach the end of the game, that's when you've got your savings. That's when you've got some money. And Fox viewers vote to the tune of over 80%. And they are rabidly Republican. And you keep getting these news organizations that try to buy themselves some of that. And it never works. It never, ever works. That's what I think ABC tried to do. They tried to buy that access. So I saw a lot of people mention access. It's more than just access to interviews, than access to that. I believe ABC is trying to buy their way into Trump's good graces, and by extension, they're trying to get a piece of that audience. And it always fails. CNN has some of the worst ratings right now that they've ever had. Period. Steve Ward, are we still in America? Amen. I will tell you, this serious. What you saw with Morning Joe on MSNBC, what you saw ABC do, this is bright and in the open for you to see if you're willing to pay attention. If you get past just they bribed him. If you get past that and you look at the motivations and you look at what they're trying to do, they just crawled in the cage with that animal. Trump is a rabid dog. And they made the same mistake everybody around Trump makes. Trump turns on everyone. Everyone. Trump turned on Fox. Repeatedly attacked Fox. When Fox wasn't, pro jiggle Trump's balls enough. Yeah. And now what is ABC? ABC doesn't even have their own base anymore. I don't know about you, when I'm not watching ABC. Screw those guys. And I can't stress to you enough. Everybody keeps thinking these people are smart because they have money. No, more often than not, when you get to that caliber of money, it was because somebody was in the right place at the right time. Bill Gates' coding was not that good. It really wasn't. Windows sucks. But he was in the right place at the right time. Fate made him a 25 generation wealthy billionaire. Not because he was particular. Listen to the man. He's one of those, they say never meet your heroes. Never sit down and listen to Bill Gates. He is awkward. He doesn't get basic common sense issues that you and I get. But he's got more money than Jesus. And it's not because he was super smart or super talented at what he did. Look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk is literally the richest man in the world right now. And it's clearly not because he's intelligent. L.A. Thorne, the Martian. If you fear Trump and the First Amendment, 3K UK citizens yearly get locked up for internet speech law violations. Trump is the exact opposite. I have got to tell you, we are really going to restrictions. This is really where we're headed. Teresa Pierce, super sticker. Okay, I want to land this plane. I'm going someplace with this. Peg, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Do not watch ABC or CNN. That's sort of independent media all the way. Yes. I'm absolutely going there. 100%. Let's talk about, first, let's finish up the speculation. why ABC did it. This is why I think they did it. Why did they do Trump the favor? No, I don't think it was they were afraid. I don't. It's becoming painfully obvious that Trump is going to have a miserable, failed presidency. He's not going to be anything to fear. They did it. They sane washed this guy because they wanted this chaos and they wanted to report on this chaos. And I think they did it because they thought they could make a deal to end up on Trump's good side, to get a couple interviews with Trump, which will be worth way more than $15 million to them. And they think they're going to get some of that MAGA love. I really think that was it. I think that's why ABC did it. And that's where we're at with the corporate media, folks. There is no corporate media. There just is no real fourth estate anymore. It's independent media, period. Michael Z says, and Mr. Z says, and then Joe and Mika flew down to kiss the ring. Yeah, no shit. That was MSNBC, man, flying down to kiss Trump's ring in Mar-a-Lago. But it's going to blow up in their face, like Rick Wilson has always said. You want to see the fact bet? I always keep it right here, brother. It reminds me to be accurate. It always reminds me to be accurate and beat the shit out of them with facts. Oh, I love that. Prostitutes. That is fantastic, Ava darling. That is fantastic. Prostitutes. That is great. Do you mind if give me permission if you don't mind if I steal that, but I'm going to use the shit out of that. This is going to blow up in their face. And this is why it's going to blow up in their face. Like Rick Wilson says, everything Trump touches dies. And Trump turns on everybody. He has no loyalty. He turns on everybody. They think that they're going to do this, but this is a bellwether for us. And here's the bad news, folks. Here's the bad news. Good news is, yeah, they're incompetent as hell. This is going to blow up in their face. Momentum's already building up on our sides. I've been calling around on behalf of some people that are having hard times getting into their local Democratic parties, and I've been talking to people, and everybody says, man, the momentum's there. People are showing up. We've got the largest crowds. The momentum is on our side. There will be a backlash. But here's the bad news. That political fact that Trump knew he was in trouble over this, that this was killing him, and he had to do this. He had to do this, folks. This revision of history, he was not surviving being the rapist president. He wasn't. He knew he was in trouble with his base. They don't give a crap about us. They don't. They're on a campaign footing continuously. They're focused on their base, and that's dangerous because their base is insane. Y'all remember Rachel Bidikofer? I'm going to get her back on the show here to come talk to us. She's one of the smartest people I know. She was calling everybody's attention to a Monmouth poll. I want you to see this. She's on Blue Sky now. Let me back up so you can see. She is on Blue Sky now. It's Rachel Bidikofer at Blue Sky Social. Just do a search for Rachel Bidikofer and people, and you could find. She is an outstanding. She is brilliant about. This is what she does for a living, folks. She is really, really good at this. But she was pointing out this Monmouth poll. Question number 26. If Donald Trump did suspend some laws and constitutional provisions, would that bother you a lot, or bother you a little, or not bother you at all? Bother you a lot by registered voters. 54% said, hell yeah, that would bother me. 30% said no. Who's that 30%? That's the 30% of the 30 of the 35% that showed up for Donald Trump. That's not even his entire voting base. They know the cracks are there. So they know some of this is going to be wildly unpopular. Would it bother you a little? Yes, 22%. So, yeah, you're looking at 76% of people would have a problem with this. Then you've got, would it bother you a little? 22%. Nah, not at all. Not bother you at all? Total, 47% answered in the negative. No, wouldn't bother me at all if he suspended laws in the Constitution. You go by party, Republicans, 36% of Republicans that identify themselves as Republicans, according to the Monmouth poll, said, no, it wouldn't bother me at all. 21% of independents said, it wouldn't bother me at all. And 10% of Democrats said that. I don't know who this 10% is. I suspect I know who they are because of some of the crazy comments that show up on my social media, but I personally don't know this 10%. But yeah, 36% of Republicans and 21% of independents wouldn't care if Donald Trump suspended provisions of the Constitution and suspended laws. Because he hates the same people they hate. And he tells them their bigotry's okay. These are the people he has to hold on to. And as you can see from those numbers, while that is horrific and bad, you can see from those numbers, that's not even everybody that showed up for him. 35% of the voters voted for Trump. 34% voted for Harris. This was as close to a 50-50 election as you can get. He is already losing his base. That's what happens. Every midterm election historically, even before you figure in Trump, every midterm historically is a backlash. It is. It just is. Take my word for that, folks. That is just political, what's the word? For something carved completely in stone. You always face a backlash. That's why in 2022, we were like, holy crap, we did really well. Holy crap. And the Republicans we're like, oh, shit. We were supposed to just decimate these guys in 22. And it didn't happen. In 2026, Trump was going to face a backlash anyways. But he's already losing that base. He's not even in office yet because of the nominations, because of the embarrassment, because this. You are rubbing it in their faces. They thought they were going to win this election and own you libs. They thought they were going to own you libs. And you came out of this election and just, you're fucking disgusting. You are disgusting. You're not destroyed. You're not hiding in the cupboard. Exactly. Their support is crumbling underneath them because everything they're talking about doing, they lied about, saying that they wouldn't do it before the election. And you've got the Republicans that are sitting there saying, yeah, man, this is our chance to get to all the ideological stuff we wanted done. This is our shot to get it done, man. And then you've got people that have actually got some experience in politics that are going, what? Are you kidding me? We'll never get reelected. I don't want to lose my job. And then you got the ideologue saying, oh, you said that about Roe v. Wade. They voted against it. Look, Trump won. And the people that understand politics know, yeah, no, it was a 50-50 election. And they had a candidate that aged out and another candidate that only had 3 months to run a campaign. And let's be honest, she was black and a woman. We had a lot of things, a lot of wind behind us with bigoted white males. I mean, and this is it. We had the billionaires come out. We had Elon Musk drop $250 million on this election alone. Just him. ET, my man, thank you. They actively worked against the American people so as to get ratings and clicks. We wondered why and screamed for them to do their jobs, but it fell on deaf ears. Yep. But, Keith, thanks for the support, man. Appreciate you. But what does it mean going forward? This is the important part. This is what we talk about in the show. What does it mean going forward? Because these things mean something. This isn't happening in a vacuum. Why did ABC and Trump sit down and do this? Both of them said, look, we don't want these depositions. We really don't want these depositions. Neither party wanted these depositions. Both of them came out of this bloody, so they did this deal. Trump did it so that he could try to rewrite history and try to stop the bleeding amongst his base. And that is horrible. That is horrific because of this. This is what his base wants. We're going to talk about a couple of things that mean what this means going forward. This ends speculation on what's going to happen here. This really does solidify, yeah, this is happening, folks. This is 100% happening. The fourth estate is the leaders in the betrayal of American democracy. And they're the first traitors against, yep. Folks, you've got to wrap your head around that. The corporate media I've been screaming this forever. The corporate media is against us Democrats. They always have been. All we do is govern. We're freaking boring. We are. We're boring. We just govern. No crisis, no sale. I mean, they're rich. They love the tax breaks. And then they've been bought out by billionaire ideologues. There's a lot of reasons that the corporate media is not your friend. You need to mark my words. I've been saying this forever. Midas Touch is the next major network. They are an independent network. You're seeing them grow into something we have never seen before. Watch them. Put a pin in it. Texas Paul said it. This right here, this is the moment in history that the corporate media died and independent media established its primacy. People like me, people like Midas, people that are out there, you know them. You know them. You follow them. You know this. You know this. But this is what it means, folks, going forward. He's losing his base. He is. He is losing his base. They need to rewrite history with the whole rapist nonsense. And that base, they have to placate them. And if you listen to anybody out there with real legal chops that understands how these things happen, and I'm telling you, we're getting warnings from people that have gone through this in other countries that are screaming to us, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. Grateful Dad ATX, man, Austin, Texas. Am I correct? Thank you for the support, my friend. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Eileen, thank you for the support, Eileen. You know, I had a talk with Ben Meiselas, a chat this morning with Ben Meiselas, and we're going to start doing a lot more with Midas Touch. We are. It's time. It's time to get aggressive. It's time to move forward. It is. Trina Longa, thank you for the support. I love you. I love you folks in Europe. You know, I can't tell you how grateful I am. Express how grateful I am to have you here and to have your sharing your point of view from other parts of the world, so that that's why our audience is so well informed. I mean, the live chat, folks. If you're watching this in replay, God love you. I'm glad you are. Get to the live chat. These folks are freaking amazing. We have people from all over the world, folks. If you don't mind sharing where you're from, pop it up. If you're outside the U.S., pop it up. Australia, there you go. Australia. Kenny Knacker's here from Australia. Folks, you're getting the world view in this conversation. It is priceless to have that kind of input. But let's talk about the immigration thing for a minute. This is going to be horrible. They're going to, the Cliff's Notes of it. I know I've gone long on this, okay? The Cliff's Notes of it. They're going to do these arrests. They are. And what's worse, they're going to do it. They've told you over and over and over again. They're going to arrest American citizens. They're going to try to ignore American birthrights. And that is going to tie this up in court. Because they don't, for as much as they do control a lot of things, they do not control the courts. They don't. Even the Supreme Court is balking at this. You're taking people born in the United States who are, by definition, legally United States citizens, and they're talking about deporting them. Deborah Ann, thank you. I appreciate it. Because there's this little inconvenient thing that sometimes people that are here that haven't dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's and are here technically illegally or overstayed a visa or whatever, have children that are young here that are American citizens. Canada in the house. Brian, I appreciate you, my man. I really do. I really do. We're going to talk a lot about Canada over the next several months. There's a lot of stuff brewing up there with you guys that is just extremely consequential right now. Brian, I'm really glad to have you here, my friend. But look, I want you to picture that. They arrest these people. They go into these camps. They're going to try to spirit them out as fast as possible. They're already talking about the designs for these camps are basically they're going to be runways. They're going to get them to these camps. They're going to throw them on planes. But here's the problem. Even people that are working with Trump, they don't just take these people. They don't tell them, no, you cannot just show up and drop people here willy-nilly. You can't do that. So these dummies think that they're going to be able to just throw people on planes and drop them anywhere. That's going to create a massive legal backlash. And these people are going to be held in these camps in limbo for years. And it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. And yes, the parallels are not lost here. The parallels are not lost here. If you read a history books, which I know you do, you know that the final solution wasn't the first solution. The first solution was trying to deport everybody, but it wouldn't work. Trump's going down the exact same path. But gratefully, Trump's surrounded by idiots. He is surrounded by idiots. And we have some very good, very talented people on our ideological side. And you also have people that are not on our ideological side that do have some fealty to the law. This isn't going to work. It's not going to be smooth. Thank you, Sierra Maid. I appreciate you. It's not going to be smooth. And I want you to think about that. Don't think about that as in a vacuum. Think about it in the big picture. You have all of these disastrous appointments. You have all of this negativity. You've got, Pete Hegseth. You've got, just think about it. Think about it. Think about all of these failures. Think about we're going to have storms. Global warming didn't stop. We're going to have storms and they're going to fail because the people they put in a heck of a job, Brownie, Katrina, remember that? Yeah, there's going to be more of that because he's putting even dumber people in charge. So think about that. I really want you focused on that. This backlash is coming. You have what is just the standard backlash. Then you have that they have appointed idiots, just complete idiots, to do these jobs. They're not even good evil people. They're freaking dumb evil people. Have you ever heard RFK speak? There's a reason RFK's not out there talking to you. That man, listen to that man speak is like, man, it's horrible. I just can't. I can't. I mean, it's worse than nails on a chalkboard, and it's so freaking stupid. They don't have people to get out there and be the face of this. They don't. So yeah, when bird flu takes off, they've got, we're back to shoving light bulbs up people's butt and drinking bleach. I mean, it's the stupidity is going to be rampant. On top of the images of these people stuck in these camps. It's going to be awful for them. And they know it. That's what's egging this. This is what I'm telling you. Don't get into a vacuum. Don't follow the short story. You are the smart ones. We can have these long discussions about this. Most people can't. And we can't lose sight of that. We cannot lose sight of that we're only talking to each other. So please, by all means, keep it up. I didn't vote for the rapist. Well, ABC had to take it back. They said he wasn't. Oh, yeah, they did. Here. You saw the headlines I posted. You can easily Google those headlines. The outfits that they came out of is right at the top. Oh, yeah, he is. Boom. There he is right there. Judge said he was a rapist. Keep it up. Keep it up. It matters. It matters. If it didn't matter, Elon Musk wouldn't have spent $44 billion for X, for Twitter. He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have. So now that you've got that image, you've got this immigration nightmare that's going to play out. And it is. Listen to me. If you are, send this to anyone you know in this situation. If you are an immigrant, if you're a dreamer, if you are any of the vulnerable population, I'm not saying quit. I'm not saying give up. I'm not saying give up on us. We love you. We're glad you're here. We want you here. We want you living the American dream. As long as you're working hard and living that American dream, we that's who we are. Everybody does better when everybody does better. But be prepared. Be prepared. Peter Campbell, thank you for all the support today, Peter. I appreciate you. Chaos and the SCOTUS bribery ruling. USA is on the menu. Stay informed. Don't obey in advance. Make change where you are. Exactly that. I'm going to pause for a second. Great point, Peter. I keep telling people, get involved with your local Democratic Party. Have what that is that's like having ammunition in your gun. It is. If you're already dialed in and you're already going to meetings and you're already informed, when it's time to act, it'll be that fast. Be prepared to resist. And that's how you prepare. Stay informed. Give up on the corporate media. You know they're feeding you crap. And get dialed in now. Another thing I want to bring to your attention, what this means, okay? This is really going to happen. This is really going to happen. The tariffs are coming. Folks, I've given up on NPR. I read this article, and it is one of the worst articles I've read in forever for sane-washing Trump and sane-washing Trump enablers. Okay? This article makes the argument that there are two kinds of people, basically, in the Trump camp about tariffs, and they're fighting each other and this, that, and the other, and it's bullshit. It's a lie. They get it right about some of them. They talk about one guy by the name of McClellan that runs an aluminum extrusion company. And yeah, the tariffs help him out a lot because he has a hard time competing, because it's not just, and I'll give NPR props for this too. It's not just China. They didn't just do the lazy, China boogeyman. They talked about Vietnam. They talked about Central America. They talked about Mexico. They talked about all the places that we are competing with. It's not just the China boogeyman. And this guy here in Texas that runs an aluminum extrusion company. What's aluminum extrusion? Again, this guy McClellan lays it out pretty good. Imagine a big Play-Doh machine. Your kid's Play-Doh machine, you put Play-Doh in it and you squeeze it out and it comes out in whatever shape you want. It's really not much more complicated than that. That's what this guy does. And the example they use in the article is, when you go to a football game, you sit on bleachers. Those are aluminum bleachers. He extrudes those long bleachers out, among other things, among making windows and car parts and every other thing. Yes, he does really well under tariffs, because right now he has a really hard time competing, because other countries, like we said, there are other countries, they're just be as dirty as you want to be. What Trump's trying to do to America, people have poisoned water. Who cares? They're just people. They act up, we'll shoot them. That's what these countries do. That's the difference between the third world and first world countries. These tariffs help American companies like McClellan compete. The other part of it was complete fabricated, made up bullshit. And the corporate media is running with this nonsense. And this is super important, super, 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 super important. You notice that Black Friday hasn't been that great. I mean, there are a lot of news stories, a lot of talk online. I have to laugh about this one. This is really common. This is just a random person on Blue Sky. I love this. This is hilarious because it's true. It's true. The discounts on Black Friday were just not that great, and this is just freaking hilarious. Wednesday, it's $8.99. Hold. You remember the scene from Braveheart? Thursday, it's $8.99. Hold. Black Friday, they tell you it costs $1,099, but it's marked down to $8.99. Buy it. Buy it now. People are just really making fun of the terrible deals that are out there on Black Friday. Why are they so bad? Why are they so bad this year? Because they really are. Black Friday sucked. Cyber Monday wasn't much better. Because they know the tariffs are coming. They know the tariffs are coming. They don't have to discount. This is going to be a mega profit year for retailers because they're just really not discounting like they once did. They just aren't. They just aren't. So this article argues that, and you've heard this story before, that the people that are not happy about the tariffs, that are on the other side of the Trump camp, they're arguing against the tariffs, and because they're importers. They sell appliances. They sell all the myriad of things that are made all over the freaking world that we import. Every appliance, almost all of it's made somewhere overseas. Huge portions of your cars, everything. Their argument is that these people, thanks for the support, Bert, I appreciate you. These people are against the tariffs. And what they're doing to be on your side is they're buying as much as possible right now. There are news story after news story after news story of companies telling their workers, just walk out, telling them directly to their face, tariffs are coming. You ain't getting bonuses this year because we're buying up inventory. That's really happening. That's really happening. And they are. They are filling warehouses as fast as they possibly can. But no, it's not because they're on your side, folks. It's not because they're trying to buy these things to avoid the tariffs so that you can buy them cheaply later and they don't lose your business, because that's the sane watching premise of this article. Is that these good, wonderful people are just really afraid that this is going to hurt our economy and that you're going to not want to be able to buy stuff because it's going to get really expensive. And they do. I mean, this importer that they've got in this article lays out how much a $130 appliance is probably going to be well over $200 by the time he's done. And they make him out to be the good guy that just really cares about you. No, what they are doing right now, folks, is they are buying up as much as they can cheaply before they have to pay China the tariff. But they're not going to pass that discount on to you. They're not going to. No, they want that tariff. They want that tariff. They don't not want it like this article suggests. No, they absolutely have to have it now. Because what happens to those warehouses full? Remember, supply chains have gotten to be a science. There's the reason you don't have the huge clearance sections. You know, every season, every time something changes, it used to be massive. You remember, if you're old as I am, you remember, man, I tell you what, everybody waited to the end of the season because, man, you could get stuff cheap because they used to buy tons and tons and tons and tons of product and hope they could sell it. And a lot of times they didn't. That's over. Logistics is a science now. So what are these people doing? They're buying tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of product. Why? No, it is not the narrative, the sane watch narrative that NPR is trying to sell. They're just trying to get ahead of these tariffs so that they don't have to raise their prices on you and upset you. No, this is what's going to happen, folks. This is what's going to happen. And no, they're not fighting the tariffs. I'll explain why in just a second. A Kroger exec reportedly testified that the supermarket giant raised prices of milk and eggs beyond inflation costs. Exactly. And that is exactly what they're going to happen with all of those goods that they bought. They want that tariff. They need that tariff. Because if that tariff doesn't hit, they're going to have to discount the shit out of those goods to get rid of them. They have a ton of inventory on hand. But if the tariff hits, they've got a boatload of goods. The tariff's making everybody else sell a product right here. Well, they've got product they can sell right here. And they think they're going to make a lot of money off of you. Because instead of having to pay that money to China in the form of a tariff, because remember, the tariff goes on China. China imports, they pay the tariff. They don't eat that tariff. They pass the tariff on to the people that just bought the good, the wholesalers that just bought the goods, pay that tariff. And then when they mark the price for you to buy retail, you pay the tariff. Now they're going to have, they think, warehouses and warehouses and warehouses and warehouses full of goods that are 25% cheaper than what you can buy them now. Money. They're going to make money. They're not going to keep those prices low. No. That's 20% of profit they weren't going to get before. That's why they're doing it. That's why you're seeing people not get their damn Christmas bonuses. Not because, oh, we got to do it to survive. No, it's an opportunity to make bank. That's what they're doing. Make them pay. Become absolutely Buddhist. We did. This is one of the mildest Christmases the Schroeder family has had in probably 2 decades. Normally, Mrs. Texas Paul makes it rain on Christmas Day. Not this year. Everybody knows they're going to get love and hugs. I'm not doing it. I'm not participating. And I bought almost nothing on Amazon. Almost nothing. I haven't been able to avoid it 100%. But normally, last year, we bought a ton of stuff on Amazon. Not this year. Not this year. And folks, I can't stress to you enough. You need to prepare. You need to prepare. And I know there's a lot of people that are like, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. What the hell do you mean prepare? But you can prepare yourself mentally that it's about to get harder. Because it is, man. They're losing their base. They have got to follow through with this. They can't afford to lose anyone, so they're going to try to please everyone. The worst of the worst, when we talked about, on the last show, we talked about Robert F. Kennedy at HHS. He's a distraction there. They're going to pump the churches right into HHS, and they're going to give those radicals every damn thing they want. His big dollar donors, they're absolutely going to give them what they want. They want these tariffs. They made record profits off the COVID inflation. This is an opportunity for them to do it all over again. And Trump can't lose them. So what's Trump going to have to do when he doesn't bring grocery prices and grocery prices go up? That spectacle. Remember, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. He's going to have to give them someone to attack, and it's going to be immigrants. And suddenly, terrorists will be raining from the sky. Suddenly, there will be someone to attack. And I would bet you this hat, they start a war. Because they're going to have to distract. They can't afford to lose any of it. And they are. They are. Oh, yeah. Because the billionaires want the tax cuts, and they want the veterans to stop getting so much in health care. So they're going to lose somebody. And in order to survive that, they've got to distract. And you've got to be prepared. Victor Harshman, we need an app on our phone run by the Democrats that organize protest marches around the country. Barely anybody protested Dobbs. We need to stand up and fight. Let me tell you, brother, there are a lot of really good people, but the most important thing I can tell you, and I'm not even kidding, get right with the Democratic Party. I can't stress it enough. I cannot stress it enough. This was a 50-50 election. If you get right with the Democratic Party, that changes overnight. That's the biggest gain you can make. We'll fight it out. Remember what being a ride or die Democrat means? It means you fight for what you believe in. I fight for what I believe in. But at the end of the day, we pull the lever for Democrats. I'm not telling you not to fight for what you believe in. I'm saying let's get the Democratic Party back in power, and then we will go after our issues. Robert Walsh, thank you for the support, my man. And yes, this is true. This is true right here. This point right here. This is something else. This is complicated, folks, but you can follow it all. I just saw a comment there that we were talking about the fact that Trump is a lame duck president going in. He is a lame duck president going in. He is. But it doesn't mean they're not going to do horrible things. They have to have that distraction to cover for things like this. This is open, out in the open, quid pro quo bribery. It just came out. All right, folks, I brag about you all the time. What did the NTSB just come out and say was the most dangerous car brand? Wild guess. Bingo. So what did the Trump campaign say they're going to do in return for Elon Musk buying X, turning it into the social media version of Fox News? He's going to end crash reporting. They're going to cut the hamstring of the NTSB. You're no longer going to be able to get that reliable data. You know, when you would go to buy a car and you'd say, okay, look, safety is important to me. I don't know about you, but that was one of the, Mrs. Texas Paul, that is one of the major things she looks at whenever we look at a car. Safety. What are the safety? You can't, they won't be there. You won't, just gone. Just gone. And people are going to realize that. And there is going to be a backlash on that. And you're going to talk about it. And there's going to be a handful, not a lot. It won't be. But there's going to be a handful of people that voted for Trump that are going to be like, that ain't what I voted for. I don't like the government, but they're supposed to do that. And you're seeing from the corporate media that they're more than willing to go along with this distraction because they can sell it. But yeah, I hope I haven't beat it to death, but I hope you have a good understanding that things like what ABC just did, it's important to look at them. They are bellwethers for what's going on. I hope you understand. This is a big freaking deal. The fourth estate is dead. You can no longer trust commercial corporate media. You can't. You just can't. Follow my friends over at Midas. They are becoming the next iteration of what news will be. Follow me. Hit the subscribe button. That's just the follow button. That's all it is. You're not buying anything. You're not getting roped into a subscription. You're not getting it's just the follow button. That's all the subscribe button here on YouTube is. But it is life-changing for this show. It is. It helps in the algorithm in ways you cannot believe. All right, I got a couple other things I want to talk about real quick, and I promise I will make them quick. I know we went long on that, but it was important that you knew this. So let's just change gears, shift directions. I want to show you, this is the Grand Ducal Castle in Luxembourg. The Grand Ducal Palace in Luxembourg. It is a beautiful place. It is. This is picture of the stairway, and now this stairway is actually infamous. Pretty, isn't it? I love Europe. I really do. Look at this artistry on the ceiling. Just really beautiful, tastefully done. Not a big fan of Russia and how it just looks like they just vomited gold leaf on everything. This is beautiful. It is. This is the stairway where this happened. If you haven't heard, Nancy Pelosi is recovering in Germany. She was coming down those stairs. She was part of a And I told you it's good to be in Congress. It is good to be in Congress. There's a lot of trips. There's a lot of things that happen. It's the 80-year celebration of the resisting the Battle of the Bulge. So a bunch of people from Congress went to Luxembourg for a pretty nice trip. And Nancy Pelosi, I've got to tell you this, though. I will tell you this. She is badass. This is her after. This is her after. She has a fractured hip in this picture. She has a fractured hip in this. Do you know what kind of a cry-ass, whiny, miserable baby I would be if I had a fractured hip? That woman is badass. She is badass. But she caught her heel coming down the steps. She fell down those stairs and fractured her hip. And she was flown to, and to give you an idea how bad it actually was, they're playing it down. She didn't come back to the States and have surgery. They flew her to Landstuhl, Germany. This is the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center in Germany. If you wonder why, when they talk about the Pentagon costing so much and we spend so much on defense spending, this is the Landstuhl Regional. That's the pretty picture from out front, the cinematic picture with the lighting and whatnot. This is the Army Hospital in Landstuhl, Germany. She flew there and she's had a hip replacement done. They repaired the fracture. They figured she's 80. She's in her 80s, folks. They didn't want to do multiple surgeries, but it was critical enough that they didn't want to fly her all the way home. This place is massive. This place is massive. You saw the angle. This is that little bit of a picture you saw right here. This is the entire complex. I mean, look at the size of this thing. I mean, this is just freaking huge. But yeah, she's recovering. And again, props to Nancy Pelosi for being a badass because she's working from her hospital bed. She didn't stop working. She had surgery. She's recovering. She's working from her damn hospital bed. She is a badass. She really is. I would be whining like a little bitch, crying for more Jello. But she is there busting ass, and we wish her a speedy recovery. We need a new generation, folks. We do. God love her. Every time I have gone against Nancy Pelosi, I end up losing. She is politically incredible. Incredible. One of the things they say within the Democratic Party is when Nancy counts the votes, that's the votes. Don't doubt it. So every time I've actually stuck my neck out and said Nancy's wrong here, I end up eating my words. But folks, she's, I believe, 84 years old now. We need a younger generation. And look, I'm just going to tell you in a me way of putting this so that I don't offend people. When I point one finger at you, I'm pointing three fingers back at me. I am not the man I once was. I am not. And I'm not in my 80s. We lose a step when we get older. We do. We get smarter. In a lot of ways, we get a lot more effective. We do. But we can't kid ourselves. That has its limits. Thank God we've got a deep bench in the Democratic Party. We have people coming up that are just freaking amazing. You know who they are. You know their names. You know their names. But we really do need to move on to this next generation. We do. We need somebody that projects strength. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you're opposing the United States of America and you're looking at Nancy Pelosi or any of them, Moscow Mitch, you're looking at Mitch McConnell, you're not intimidated. It doesn't matter that I can tell you, yeah, cross Nancy Pelosi at your peril. That woman's a knife fighter. it doesn't matter that that's true. It matters how it's taken. And yeah, this is really true. This is really true. There's some serious infighting in the Democratic Party. Thanks for pointing this out, Spatial Dragon. There is a West Coast versus East Coast. It ain't just rap battles, folks. Politics. You've got the Eastern Democratic Party and the Western Democratic Party vying for who's going to run this show. Committee assignments and control, and it's a real battle, folks. It really is a battle. And we need youthful, good, strong people in there. And don't get caught up when we start fighting each other. Don't. Last thing I want to talk about is this has happened. You remember last week, Yoon, the president of South Korea, tried to declare martial law. The people rose up. The legislature voted it down. Then they tried to impeach him and failed. They voted again, and they have actually impeached Yoon. He is gone. Yoon Suk Yeol is gone. He is gone. His deputy, Han Duck-soo, has taken over. He has lost all of his presidential authority, but he's refusing to leave. He's holed up in his office, and he's saying, I'm going to fight this. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still the president. And they're working their way through their process to figure out how they're going to pry him out of that office. But he has no political power at this point. He is technically not the president while still technically being the president. And they're working their way through it, folks. Take this as inspiration. We're going to face a lot of situations with Trump. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. We're going to face a lot of situations with Trump. We are. That are just new territory. There isn't going to be written paths that we would normally have to take to get to fight these things out. Take heart from what the Koreans just did. You keep fighting, and what is right will win in the end. It will. But they won't make it easy. But you can do this, folks. You can do this. The political tides are turning. They are. This was a 50-50 election. It wasn't our finest moment. It really wasn't. But people are horrified. I'm telling you, folks. I am telling you. 100%. People are horrified by these appointments. You have the money people that are looking at these appointments and they're saying, no, man, this is stupid. What are you doing? These people are incompetent. Our livelihoods rely on this, and you're giving us Tulsi Gabbard as the DNI? What is wrong with you? And there will be plenty of embarrassment to go around. Stick tight. Don't buy into the corporate media crap. Push independent media. I'm telling you, if you're not following Midas Touch, do it now. Do it now. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, do it now. Let's grow this community as large as possible, and let's keep talking about this so that everybody knows where we're going. That's a nightmare for another show. That is a nightmare. We're going to get to it. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate you. Enjoy some Texas cities at night. And thank you for all the support.